how long is it going to take us to get there? I mean, this is something that we've been working on, as you know, for more than 20 years. And we're making incremental changes. We need to do something. We need the world to move more rapidly if we are going to be able to do something in terms of addressing climate change. How do we get the governments? How do we get industry? How do we get each of us individually more motivated to get this done?
Well, clearly the degree of urgency has risen dramatically, right? Because we're seeing the acceleration of global warming. So we're running out of time, obviously. In terms of how to get there faster, I mean, I really don't think we can rely on the SEC or the government or the public sector. And we were talking about the SEC proposal earlier. We were discussing that in this panel, Bob and I. And we know that that's going to undergo litigation, and maybe at best it could be implemented in, I don't know, 3 years would be really fast, probably. In the meantime, things are still going on. So I think there's still going to be a heavy reliance on the private sector, on investors, on consumers to continue to push for more sustainable processes and standards. And I think the only way that you get progress on that is doing something like what we're talking about, having more transparency. You know, in the last question, when we were discussing this application to the supply chains and sort of the social aspect, I was just thinking in my mind, that would be fantastic. I mean, because that is something as investors that we're very concerned about, that the supply chain risks of forced labor, of child labor, and that is really hard to get visibility into, and companies don't really provide transparency into that because they don't have it in their suppliers. That's, I would say, the holy grail. I think it'd be easier, quote unquote, easier to get this done on the environmental side. And so I'm kind of hoping for that first. And within the next 5 years, I think we will have a lot of progress, not because of what's going on necessarily at the SEC, but what's going on globally. We have regulations that have been implemented in Europe by the European Union, which I think will have cascading effects because there are international companies that operate there and that want to get access to the capital markets. So we will see some more progress, but it won't be as quick as anyone wants.
Yeah. So, I mentioned before, if we could just get the 181 companies whose CEOs signed up to this statement of business purpose 3 years ago to do this, that would have an enormous impact. Those are really major, important companies. If you could get the top 50 companies in the FTSE index in London to do this, and the top 50 in the German DAX index, if that's the index, those 250, maybe up to 400 companies, that's a huge percent. And you go through their whole supply base, that's a huge percentage of output in the world. And that would really, get things moving, as Bonnie said, a lot faster than government regulation or waiting for a carbon tax to come in.
Well, I guess we know what our marching orders are.